Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to play Speared by Heart. It's another Yandere dating sim found on itch.io. Let's begin. Or is it technically it's a Tomoe because you have to play as a princess with a Yandere knight? Let's begin. Chapter 1. Prophecy 12, Princess of the East. A princess born in divine light shall seal the fate of the night. As all of the land sits in her hand, she will be with a lover planned. Arranged marriage. Will be forced to marry a prince in heart. Not a prince born in scars. Princess? 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 Princess YN. Right, Princess YN. That's me. Am I under that much stress? I almost forgot my own name. He showed her. The thought of not remembering who you are is horrible. Even if you did somehow forget, there was always something to remind you. The prophecy. It defined your existence, controlled your future. Apparently this is a Wattpad story too, from the same creator of the visual novel. So if you want to check this out, not only the visual novel, the dating sim, but you can also check the Wattpad. The prophecy. It defined your existence, controlled your future. The kingdom won't let you be a person if its outcome holds true. Marrying a prince of any kind would surely seal your fate for good. And that's exactly the heck you just ran from. You had to give up everything, your royal duties, the palace, your family, just to be yourself, and you have a choice in this world. On your birthday too, it was nothing but cruel. The prince, you could have loved him. He was so kind as a kid. But he changed. I'm not marrying that. There's nothing kind left of him. Last I saw of him, left of Damien. I think the main issue is his name's Damien. In most media, the name Damien is that kid, the one from the Damian Wayne. It just makes me think of Damian Wayne. Then they can have a jacket based off him. Don't speak his name right now, please. Hurt me. I need to focus on remembering everything. After you refused the prophecy to marry him, he waged war against you and your family. Well, joke's on you. I'm not with the family anymore. I'm running away. If you didn't go willing, the prophecy went uphold. Terror unknown to man would impose upon the land, dismantling it. You knew your choice was selfish, but you didn't care. You wanted to finally have a choice. Your choice was to go down with fight. Except you didn't. It haunts me still. I never forgive myself. So just leave me alone. You shook your head. It wasn't worth thinking about anymore. All I could focus on was the present. I'm safe for now. I have work to do in a small town that keeps me busy. Plus, no one knows I'm the princess here. Or so we think. I actually had not read the Wattpad. At least not yet. At least, I hope. Surely, if someone knew, they would have already said something, right? Anyway, the town. I mean, right? We might have Yanderes there, so they might be overprotective. After escaping, you found a small town. Or so you thought. There were a rebellion in the skies, fighting against the war. They gathered anyone and everyone who was willing to fight, including informants from inside the castle. Some of them serve under Damien himself. It was only a whisper, though. Not one actually disclosed any of it. No one actually disclosed any of that information. Figures, and you didn't recognize anyone from your time inside the castle either. Still, they found you in the forest and let you stay. You helped out by collecting herbs for the healers and offering your fighting powers in the group of warriors. Give me a bow and arrow and I'll probably be good. I'll be Candace Everdeen. You didn't have much, or Hawkeye. Hawkeye would be better, probably had a better outcome. Technically, you didn't have much to fight with besides a curved sword, your saber, but did good enough. Now you spar and practice with one of the 3 elites, the warriors guarded as the best of the best, capable of taking down anyone. Yeah, Clyde, as if he isn't one of the weirdest guys here. Somehow, on top of this, already very weird situation I'm in. How weird is he? Plus, he's confusing, more than confusing. One minute he's nice to me inside the town, making small talk and conversation. The next day, he's unreadable, distant, rude, sarcastic, you name it. Is he a tsundere or a yandere, or is he a tsundere? I mean, seriously, what's up with him? That's just how he is, I guess. But he's still definitely very weird. Here I am thinking about him, though. Even though he's strange, I can't help but to... Oh yeah, I think I've already done this, but... Yeah, I've messed around with it a little bit. Like him. Sure, he's interesting, but he's attractive. And there's a limited options right now. Wouldn't hurt to just open and enjoy the time I spent with him, right? The small amount of time he gives me, though, when he's not busy being distant or rude. At least your time here was well spent. Peaceful, too. You still have to remember their goals. You have to remember that staying here forever wouldn't be possible. You can't consider yourself completely safe until you're out of here. Which always makes me wonder, why hadn't I already left? I'm still here, 6 moon cycles later, so 6 months later, without even a bit of an idea of where to go. Why am I still here? I'm scared. Of course I'm scared. Who wouldn't be? Maybe instead of thinking why, I should think about getting the heck out of this town. Routing a plan of escape would be hard. There isn't another town or kingdom anywhere nearby, unless I try to go north into the cold mountains. Cold mountains. There might be a town in there. Nothing about the idea seems appealing, and I know nothing about the kingdom. Let's keep that one for later. I could just try to stall out into the forest nearby. No, there's so many animals around there. It's like, well, we could get a bow and arrow and go hunting. Nothing sounds like a good idea, and you remind yourself why you didn't have a plan yet. Everything seems impossible. Nothing's impossible. Get a bow and arrow, get that sword, and hunt. Thinking this much, I mean, you need if you need food or cold mountains. Actually, the cold mountains would probably be worse. Thinking this much hurt your head, you force yourself to stop daydreaming and focus on whatever you're doing. Why in? You try to remember. What were you doing again? Why, Anne? Maybe you were cleaning up your bed or something. Or working on... Why, Anne? Your eyes shall open. First, you notice Clyde standing in front of you, staring, his expression slightly annoyed, but mostly blank. You look around, your body's laying up against a tree in the middle of the forest. Other weapons and sparring tools cover the ground underneath you both. You look up next. The sun is beating down on you harshly. All of your limbs feel weak and ready to give out on any second. Did I almost pass out? Almost. I think we did pass out. I didn't even remember Clyde, and I'm actively sparring right now. I feel so weak. You mutter to yourself, trying to regain enough energy to stand fully upright. All of the thinking I'm doing lately must be taking a toll on my physical health too. Plus, the sparring is always so intense. I don't think thinking would go with your physical health. What was that about sparring practice? Nothing, Clyde. I said I'm trying over here, you know? If you call this trying, your reactions are slow, and you're spacing out. Try again. This time, when you're ready. His tone laced with sarcasm as he scoffed, smirking at you. He was doing this to get a rise out of you. The man it was working. He gave you a little space while waiting for you to initiate the next sparring attempt. You look over at the spot he decided to take as he waited, only to see him lazing around against a tree with a bored look, still waiting. Seeing him makes this difficult training in the horrible sun look as easily tick you off. It made sense since he had so much more practice than you. People regard him as an elite warrior, which just meant he was someone with unique skills on the battlefield. Skills that you probably only scratched the surface off while you're sparring with him. Well, so yeah, a good warrior. I'll say I would be weak though. I would have no strength. I would went and hold on to a door that was opening up, and with my hand, and my hand had a massive pain for half the day. Not just that, but he's only 25, definitely more than capable of doing this. He only a basic warrior, mostly there as a front line for the most useful people behind you. Clyde is pushing you to new levels of training that are not meant for you at all. Yeah, I would be the I would want to be in the back with a bow and arrow. Let's just say that. Truthfully, being pushed over the max didn't feel good. It was annoying Clyde even more so. He tried not to think about that part. Something that made it worse is that he didn't do this to anyone else but you. At least, not that you could notice. To everyone else, he didn't show any emotions, expressions, nothing. He's completely a reserved person. Reserved himself. I have to take my wins when I get them. I guess at least I get some emotion out of him. Should I really take this as a victory, though? I'm the only one he makes fun of, too. Oh, he has a crush on you. If I wasn't stupid, I would think he hates me. I think he likes ya. More like I didn't also take a liking to him. I would. How stupid am I to like a man who constantly makes fun of me? You blink into focus. Your body, to be surprised on how much genres and soldiers have that concept. You blink into focus. Your body was getting see, to do something. The drone only just came back into conscious a moment ago, was wearing out, and you had to do something with it. Considering Clyde wasn't going to let you off the hook in terms of sparring practice either, he probably wanted you to do one more round of combat before calling it a day. You would have been keen on calling it a day times before this, but you knew your body wasn't going to be able to keep up this round, even with the trillion. Like, nope. Me, my asthma be kicking up. Might as well just try a little bit. No need to go crazy or anything. Not like I even can. My body feels like I can fall over at any moment. Speaking of falling over, you glance over at him again, laying there against the tree, staring as sharp into the spear. He was so relaxed, like he didn't even break a sweat. How is he able to stand there like this training is nothing to him? He really makes this look so easy. I guarantee myself he's doing this on purpose, too, in spite of me. He probably enjoys the entertainment it gives him to know he's stronger than me. It's like, okay, good luck. Good luck with that. You are definitely stronger than me. Keep the sharp pain with my hand. Because you're... all that does is remind you of the royals. No shock there. You blank out. Think about how you wish you could kick that entitlement out of him. It didn't occur to you that during the time you were falling deep into your thoughts, you were staring right at him. His nose quick and got off the tree, walking back over to you. He's coming back over here. Whatever. Now we can get this training over with. Is the princess probably ready to continue? Does Clyde already know that we're a princess? I thought we said it. No people know that we're a princess. I have a feeling he knows. Or are you going to continue staring at me all day? I don't mind that, but only if you are looking for a good reason. You feel you feel your heart's gonna beat. You were staring, or was he just flirting with you again? You couldn't help but at least brush a little. Not only because of the remark, but the nickname he chose for you. It started you to worry about him knowing your secret. I think he knows. Princess, you worried he's toying with you at this point. You hope it's just a coincidence, or at least you can escape before you find out. He positions himself for battle, and you do the same, mimicking his movements. Yes, please just hurry up. After you finish speaking, you attempt to strike him in a forward position with an immediate hit from your sword into his chest. As you wish, my princess. He winks, blocking your attempt to strike him with ease before rushing in with his first attack, sweeping his with his spear to knock you off your feet. You know what he's trying to do. Use cheap tactic to throw you off and distract you. Over the last 6 endless moon cycles, you and Clyde frequently had interactions like this. Sparring, flirting, everything else awkward in between. Brain focus on training. Am I trying to injure myself or something? Thinking about him when my most vulnerable distractions. He dodged his attack back, not with any ease at all. You keep your footing in the ground to avoid being knocked off balance. You try to strike him back, this time from the left, but he dodges it without any care in the world. For his next attack, he came straight on, testing to see if you were still prepared after just attacking him. You were, and you held your block up to make sure his attack wasn't going to hit you. Both of your weapons collide, making a tense sound that reverberated through the forest. Even though you blocked it, it still took a lot out of you. You felt that you were running out of strength and energy fast. Stand up, your defense is wavering, unless that's what you want. No, obviously not. I'm tired. God. Do you even get tired at all? Probably, but not as much as we do. He shrugged, not giving the conversation another thought before hitting you again with a simple attack to break your defenseless form. Obviously worked, sending you straggling back a little bit. You could feel it. The next dagger was going to send you down. You had to play more carefully to try to end this before you actually got knocked down. Of course, all you could say that you're ready another attack that he not only dodges but makes it incredibly obvious in doing so. Still, even though your attack was going to miss, he chooses to jump in the way and block it. As he held you back, he pushes you back hard, the final stagger to send you barreling backwards. Before you had any time to think about recovering your balance, your head hit a tree. Crap! You felt your back slam into the tree behind you, rendering you winded and in pain. All you could do is stay conscious was hold on tight to your sword, pointed outwards in front of you. The impact of the blow, forcing your eyes shut. At this point, you were scared to reopen them. The only noise you could make out was a lot of heavy breathing in the midst of nature. Slowly and cautiously, you open your eyes to assess damage. Clyde was so close to you, they could barely see anything else right now. But him. How embarrassing. Oh, he's... I want to see that again. The hearts. Because it's gonna go... Yep, there. I love it. It hit that you thought you were going to take was a void, though, and you noticed that he instead ended up stabbing his spear into the tree behind you, right next to your head. You were surely grateful of that, but still confused why he attacked you, though he did. He could have done something to win the fight, and not have ended up in this position. Well, with those hearts, I think he did this on purpose. So close to him, he still wasn't moving or letting you go either. I guess he didn't pick up on this awkward situation yet. Especially since it's been way after the fight was already won in his favor. The whole situation was scrambling your brain, especially after the hard impact to your head against the tree. It took a second to not only find the right words to say, but to also recover your voice enough to talk because of the impact. That was until you could looked down, noticed the real problem. Your sword shoved into his chest. Wait, it did? And you're still giving me heart-wise for that. Oh my god, are you okay? My sword! Lie in. This wound looks terrible. Are you going to be okay? I didn't mean to do that. Listen, it's fine. It's all my fault. It's all my fault anyway. I ran into your sword. As you could see. Trust me, you wouldn't be able to make me bleed like this in a fight, even if you tried. I did it myself. Really? Like, why? The conversation died off as he tried to end it with a taunting remark to you. You zone off again in a small time of you zone off again in the small time of calmness after the sparring, wishing you could just smack him for saying something mean like that. As you came back to Rowdy, you noticed you both were still there. He wasn't getting off of you or moving out of the way. As you both stare back into each other's eyes, all you could notice was the weird expression he kept making when he looked at you. The little heart eyes. This is uncomfortable now. You needed to tell him to get off you. Nah, I like the heart eyes. Are you going to get off me now? My sword needs to come out of you soon. It's like, really, you're bleeding. Clyde pulls himself off you, not mentioning an ounce of what just happened. His multitude of facial expressions just returned to nothing. You watch him pull your sword out of his chest, dumbfounded. He did this without even wincing in pain, gesturing the handle back, handing it back to you. It took you a second to take it back from him, but eventually you did, muttering out a small thanks. Clyde starts to walk away by himself, well injured, and nudges you to do the same. You are somewhat more conscious now, but had no choice except to follow him. Walking back into town was very quiet, mostly awkward, and nothing sort of tiring. The only noise coming between the two of you was both of your steps walking on the grass and the ground, and the birds. He couldn't believe he was making the injury look like nothing. He sure he would not be feeling the same if he did this to you. He was holding it over it with one hand, but still, not even an ounce of pain seeped into his eyes. Was he really that strong? Was he really human? Surely, he was just making it look like he could handle it, right? Ignore any other incoming thoughts and only focus on getting back to the town. All this thinking was going to burn a hole through your brain. After one time, you both made it to the town, or at least you could see it up ahead. And you and Clyde finally separated, with him hurrying off to the healing center, which was really close to the entrance of town. Lucky for him, he didn't even say goodbye, though, or anything. Thankfully, you had the rest of your day to yourself. You always did on sparring days. You deserved it too. The sparring was enough to make you want to fall over and sleep for days on end. As much as you wanted to do something less protective, try to find the best escape route, your body heavily disagreed. You needed to relax. You absolutely couldn't do any more physical labor. Pushing yourself too hard and causing any kind of energy would definitely hinder the escape attempt in the future. So where to go to relax? Let's go with the library. I could head to the library and relax by reading some more books. It should be peaceful there, and no one, probably empty. No one else goes into the library but me anyway. You can remember that you had to pass by the healing center to get your desired location. You saw Clyde head into the building earlier. You didn't notice him come out yet. Surely someone like him wouldn't be hurt that bad by an energy like that, right? Then again, if it's him who we're talking about. You shrugged off that he's fine and tried to walk past. Unfortunately, your ears caught both Clyde and someone else arguing and yelling at each other. Pretty intensely, too. You managed to pick up on what they were arguing about. His injuries. You almost felt responsible for the arguing and the thought about going in there. going in is probably not the good idea. I don't really want to draw much attention to myself. At least not more than Clyde already gives me. But maybe I should just sit by and listen to what they're saying. Do I listen to them? Yes, I want to see what happens. Seems wrong to listen in, but I feel bad about hurrying him. I should make sure he's okay and then leave. You creeped up to the doors and just barely cracked them open a little bit more, enough to see the conversation unfold, without having to actually go inside. While you intentionally only had one to listen in, concern filled with your mind, you need to see him to be sure he's okay. Figures the last thing you needed was to get caught doing this. Still, you kept listening. First, you noticed Clyde sitting upright on one of the healing beds, covering over his wound with his hand, resisting the treatment. You couldn't understand why he didn't want it, but it was sure as heck obvious that he didn't. Then you noticed who was trying to heal him, Alice, or you assumed that was her name since Clyde kept yelling it, but he didn't really know her. You've been healed a few times in this healing center, but never by her, or anyone high enough in rank to yell at Clyde like this and get away with it. Once they got over the intentional argument, once they got over the initial argument of direct and intimidating insults, which you wouldn't last another second hearing, they got to the point. I'm not being difficult. You're simply, as always, have no idea what you're doing. I'd rather just go back to the barracks and take care of it myself. You're as stubborn you're so stubborn as you insult me. You know I have done this for years. I've done this for years, for more years than anyone else in this army. So shut up and let me heal your wound. Not happening. I always heal your wounds for decades. I've been healing your wounds for decades. Your being like this only proves to me that something's up. So what's been going on with you recently? It's nothing else. I'm fine. Really? I'm supposed to believe the switch up in your personality over the last few moon cycles was nothing? His crush? I said I'm fine. Drop the subject now. Wow, even though you could barely see in the room right now, Clyde looked ticked off. If Alice didn't stop talking right now, he looks like he could kill her. And over what exactly? You were missing so much content on the backstory of them. What do you want me to do with you then? How did you even get injured? Why, and I had a small incident while sparring. That's all. Nothing that was in my control. Give me the herbs and I'll do it myself. Wyan, she did this to you? That's why you're so bent out of shape to talk about this. Again, drop it. Anything to do with us is none of your business. You're so lucky that no one else is going here right now with enough authority to do something about you. If the others heard about you not getting healing from me, and what, huh? What do you think they could do about it? I'm stronger and always will be than everyone here. Maybe I should be so kind to drop them a message regarding your relationship with YN. What's our relationship? Are you training us and it being technically Yandere? YN, I'm leaving. She could help me instead of you. Then I wouldn't have to listen to this crap you would give me all the time. You are annoying. I don't care what you have to do. Just get healed by tomorrow, or else I'm doing it. Get out of here. Clyde didn't say anything back. He only gave a small in reply and grabbed something from Alice before heading for the door. The door you were, watching from? Clyde is getting up and waving. I have to get away from here. He got up gently, yet as fast as possible to make much distance as possible. Listening into their conversation was bad enough, but getting caught for it would be even worse. You were able to speed walk a good distance away from the healing center. Taking a deep breath, you felt anxiety of getting caught dissipate. You thought about what Clyde said, though. Did he really think could help him? Surely he wasn't going to ask you for help to help heal him, right? You kept walking. That was until a loud footstep behind you made the hair in your back of your neck stand up. Heck, that's him, isn't it? Trying to catch up to me. Maybe if I didn't even turn around. That didn't matter. He gently, despite how fast he was moving, grabbed onto your shoulder and tried to turn you to look at him. You turned around, but couldn't help but jump in the process. Jeez, Clyde, you scared me. What? Now is the moment of truth. Would he really ask you to heal him? Lion, I've seen you practice healing before. Come back to my barracks and heal me. Oh, that's what he's gonna do. As you should anyway. You were the one who injured me, princess. Oh my god, he's seriously asking you and assaulting you? Like he's Link from Legend of Zelda. The old Legend of Zelda cartoon. What? I can't do anything good enough to help you. How would you know? Plus, you ran into my sword. I watched you at the campsite when you first got here. You were messing around with healing herbs and writing stuff down in a notebook. At least, try something. The night I first got here? Cold and dark, your feet trend onward. Anywhere but where you came from. The night you fled was the worst to be outside. You weren't even close to wearing the right clothing for being out in the cold, much less having to traverse a dense forest barely touched by people. You had to leave tonight. Your parents surprised you with a visit to Damien's kingdom to get married tomorrow. Damien's kingdom to get married tomorrow. You fled the kingdom with only the clothes on your back and your notebook. A beautiful letter piece with your name on it as a gift from your mother. You kept almost every secret you had in it. Once you found the town, you made sure to keep it concealed the best you could. Any glances at the notebook from anyone else would completely ruin everything you worked for. Surprisingly, none of them budged on anything. Clyde stood up for you the most, which you really couldn't understand why, but someone appreciate it now after the fact. He knew from the beginning. You met not only Clyde, but the two other leads as well. You barely interacted with the two of them anymore. Only saw them for porn updates. Andre and Bruce seemed to be the backbone of the entire operation, making sure to stay out of the gaze of others. Why they would ever have Clyde be the front-facing elite was beyond your understanding, but that's how it was. Because he's a Yandere. When the three of them brought you in, they put you in a small little camp while deciding where they could use your skills. You lied, saying that you were a blacksmith from the kingdom fleeing the impending war. Imminent war. thank goodness they didn't need one, because you had zero clue how to actually be a blacksmith. They end up giving you some herbs and crafting materials to see if you could make something simple, healing remedies. It wasn't terrible yet. It went terribly at first. You couldn't figure out a single conversation that worked. You worked down every single thing you tried in your notebook. Suddenly, a combination worked. A mixture soaked into your skin, giving you a slightly refreshing feeling. You, beaming with delight, wrote down the right combination in your notebook and tried to scribble out all the rest. When you woke up, you saw something looking at you. Someone. As you saw it, it was gone. You left alone, figuring it was some wild animal nearby. You're obviously in the middle of the woods, so that wouldn't be a surprise. Still, the feeling of being watched never left that night, and it made it a little bit hard to sleep. Once you woke up that morning, the feeling had passed and never came back. That day, the town invited you in, and you had joined the warriors for training. You were shocked at first, and sad because you wanted to keep getting inside over healing herbs working. But you imagine Clyde had some impact on that decision. Plus, it ended up not going so well, the training, but you met your best friend while doing it. Or at least the most trustworthy person you could rely on right now, Jackson. He was annoying to you at first for being so bad at training. Once he learned that you weren't actually trained at all, he offered his help. After that, you ended up talking to Jackson almost every day. He became the only person you could trust even a little bit in the town, and you relied on him a lot the first few meeting cycles. Once you got better at combat, Clyde demanded that you start training with him instead of the group. You wonder if you and Jackson talking so much was the reason you got pulled from the regular training. Probably. How do you take that? It's normal. We're going for it's normal. I mean, I'm sure he had his reason too. No reason to dwell on it. Shaking your head, you zone back into reality, pushing the flash back to the back of your mind. After all, Clyde is still standing right in front of you, expecting to continuation of the conversation. So, you're always been there watching, I'm assuming from some kind of scary reason? Yes, I had to. Not all the time, but a lot of your early time here, I had to be watching, or else our elites wouldn't let you stay down. So don't act surprised if I know some of the things you were up to. Not only all of that, I had to report back that you weren't doing anything suspicious. Unfortunately, they assumed the worst of you. Now, because of my good word, they don't feel that way anymore. I mean, thanks, I guess. I can understand their distrust, but that seems a bit much. Thanks for vouching for me otherwise. I'm glad they didn't feel that way now. They don't feel that way now. Clyde has been there how many times? Are you almost never noticed a single one? You were trained day in and out at the castle to detect when people were near you. It was one of the first things your mother taught you in order to avoid being assassinated or kidnapped. But he was scary. How was he good at that? Or did you really lose your skill and quickly being away from home? Oh, this was because he's your Yandere. We trust him. Of course, not like you ever did anything wrong to report anyway. Don't worry, princess, I trust you. I have from the start. I always have. That you thought you didn't. You know something weird, but the way he looked at you, but it was gone in an instant. Better to just ignore it. Yeah, I can admit that I didn't expect to be in this town though I would have moved on by now. I thought I would move on by now. Move on? You have other plans besides fighting in the revolution? Not just escaped the war, it's all. I really didn't want to be in the revolution. No, it's just sort of happened. Interesting. I'm technically the start of the revolution, so... You and him both sat in awkward silence for a second, and you soon regret saying that. Thankfully, he interrupted the silence with, of course, a sarcastic remark. Back to the main topic, princess. He knows we're a princess, I just know it. My energy. Can you heal it? I'm not feeling any better by the second. Okay, save. Yes, but I can, but I'm not really good at it. You see me do really basic stuff, and the energy I gave you is way worse than anything I've dealt with. I need to go back to the library and get my notes to even begin to help you. You rubbed the back of your neck, embarrassed, as you were supposed to remember the basics on Anne, and felt like he was going to say something about it. Not like it was a basic energy either. I'm already heading there right now if you wanted to come with me. It's fine, don't worry about it then. Are you sure? I do feel guilty about urging you. We never do that when we spar. Really, it's fine. I'll take care of it on my own. You should rest after our training today. I don't intend on being any nicer after this, Wyan. This training with you was supposed to be the nice version. He gave you a laugh before heading off to his room, covering over his energy with his hand. Your heart sank, watching him leave, but there was nothing else to do. He said he would be fine and take care of it. With the conversation between Clyde and Alice still fresh in your mind, you continue on your way to finally relax somewhere. Decades. Are Clyde and Alice related or something? From the way they talked, they could be siblings. He didn't mention his sister, but he never talks about himself personally. You shrugged. You never talked to Alice at all, so finding the answer to that would require asking Clyde. He didn't seem thrilled about having to talk to her anyway, much less talking about her. You would get the answer later, if you ever cared to get it all. Moving on, he hoped for no more interruptions, since you really had no desire to talk to more people. The town seemed really empty anyway, so you put your head down and start walking as fast as you could without hurting any additional parts of your body. You find yourself finally in the library. After a long day, immediately try to get the one place you could relax, the desk. Slumping in your seat in the middle of the first floor, you try to look around at the books closest to you to read. Thankfully, you had plenty of books to choose from, and most of them kept you entertained for all your time here. The collection was certainly not small at all, and you weren't even close to getting through it. You wondered why a small and vague town had all the historical documents. Then again, fake town. Yes, this is a front for the revolution. Then again, maybe the town was really a real town before the army used it for their rebellion. You weren't complaining though. You needed the books at this point to not go insane doing nothing. Especially since there's nothing else to do but read and train. My body cannot take the training anymore. You look back at the books again. Each session had a small space for a genre based on who wrote it, so you could read historical or romantic stories of past kingdoms from different authors. You kept an eye on a few that looked good to read, but stopped once you remembered something hidden in one of the shelves. Right, my notebook. I put it in one of the shelves to keep it safe. Now, which one is it? Oh, this one. Thank God, there it is. I'll take it out and put it in my desk to use for later. Not only did you read, you also wrote in your notebook about the day-to-day events going on. The notebook was really the only piece of your old life you still had with you. You thought about skipping the reading and writing in your notebook instead, especially considering today, but you always did that. It's not boring. It got boring after the last 6 moon cycles to have no freedom to do anything except write about your feelings. So you settled in your mind that you would actually read for something today first. But where to start? What genre? One of the last few days you covered history books about your kingdom, but you needed something new today. You got from your desk and walked around the library to really get a good look around. You were able to get to all the other shelves, making sure to cover both the small upstairs and downstairs in search of finding good topics. After a small while, you managed to pull together 3 books they hadn't seen before as options to read and brought them back to your desk. Sitting down, you look over your options again. Question was, which one did you want to actually read? Northern Rural Family Legacies, Native Land and Mountain Wildflowers, Traveling Merchants, Late Night Whispers. Let's go with Northern Royal Family Legacies. This is a new one. I don't remember my parents telling me about the royal family of the North, so why not? Let's see. On the first page, the book displayed a family portrait of the royals at that time. The book looked old, so you could safely guess that they were no longer in power. Maybe the small child was, though. His name was Marek. Marek? He didn't look any older than maybe 5 or 6. He's adorable. Wonder if he's still a king now. Or maybe he had another child. Maybe the book will tell me more about that later. After that, the book starts to go even further back in history, talking about the kingdom's founding. The book mentions a corporation in producing an heir of another kingdom from a very southern region. Seems like a complete opposite to me. Someone from somewhere so warm, moving somewhere so cold for a child. All I can say is good thing it wasn't me. Soon after, people started moving both north and south to intermingle with each other, essentially becoming one region. One group? How would that work? They're so far away. Can't seriously think someone would try to display the rules. So that there's big countries here, you can. In our actual world, the legends only strengthened by a son was born, Marek, to ascend the throne and continue to unite everyone together. Just look at Canada. It's set to marry the youngest daughter of the South in order to take complete and utter control over the region and its trade value. Talk about an allegiance. That seems more only beneficial and benefit. This seems to only benefit one party, although seems fair to another situation. The book only continues to mention boring trade and geographical location stuff about the 2 regions. You read it, sure, but it's at this point only because you were bored. It wasn't long before you eventually got to the end of the book with no additional interesting details. You flipped the book closed. At the end of the history lesson, you were at least grateful that it wasn't your kingdom either. You finally look up after a while of staring down and realize how dark it got outside. Staying any later in the library might be a bad idea, in case you fall asleep here before you get back to the barracks. Usually one of the elite warriors did a check to make sure everyone was in their bed by nighttime. If you didn't show, you might get in serious trouble. Still, you couldn't help but at least want to put a little something in your notebook for yourself. More of a requirement for my mental sanity at this point. I can make it quick and get out of here soon. You start out by writing something about the war and your never-ending pain that Clyde contied with it. The pain, it haunted you, both mentally and physically at this point. Being in pain from training so much all the time almost kept your mind off everything else. Almost. Next, you mentioned Damien. It was almost a reaction to think of him every time you thought of yourself in pain. You wish you could tell him how much of that pain he caused on the regular, but it couldn't be. It wouldn't be worth having to see him again. He's such a raw son. To think I liked him. Then maybe you made sure to include a piece of yourself in there, a little section about your regular feelings on the day-to-day. Sure, you had Jackson to occasionally talk to about your personal regards, but you didn't do that often. As nice as he was, you still couldn't trust him completely. You couldn't trust anyone that much at this point. Finally, there was today, mostly Clyde of today, but still, he had to say something about him. His behavior today was completely out of the ordinary. But it was nice change to his usual. Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe you really were trying to get attached to him. Or not. He's still trying to leave. We're still trying to leave. Just decide, brain, good or bad. Do you mention Clyde in that way? So either yes or in more than a good way. I'm gonna go more in a good way. He's all I think about nowadays. I have to get my head straight and think about more important stuff, like leaving. But I can't write. I can write about him and all that just this once, right? Not like I ever felt this way about anyone before, and it wasn't basically forced on me. That wasn't basically forced on me. It makes me feel natural. As natural as it can be in this weird, inescapable situation. He wrote not only your details about him from today, but many times as you could think of. Any time you both interacted with that was either strange to you or memorable enough to keep writing down. It felt good to lay out, almost like a confession. Certainly, you still had a long way to go to actually feel anything more than an interest with him, but it was a start. He would have to be a little bit nicer to be if he wanted that to really develop into something meaningful. Then again, maybe he doesn't. It's hard to say. Either or, I don't really think I mind. Not like I even have time for a relationship like this until the war is over anyway. You continued writing any last-minute thoughts about him while even drawing a little picture of him in the page right here. It's so amazing artwork. You were no artist, but it looked good enough. Oh, it's amazing. You admire the picture while you looked over what you wrote about him. Aside from the way you felt about him, you still did not make much of... You still did make sure to completely recount the day. From the incident this morning all the way until now, the middle of the night. He made sure to cover most everything in detail, as in the small chance that maybe he woke up with amnesia or something. At this point, nothing would surprise you. The information about Clyde and the events of today took almost 2 whole pages, right next to each other. On that note, you figured it was perfect time to head to bed, if you could. As you tried to get up from your desk, you could barely feel your legs. How long have I been sitting here? I need to get to bed. Trying to resist the feeling in your legs never made them feel any better. All you could focus on was the urge to sleep more and more, pushing you down to stay at the desk. If I don't get up, I'm in so much trouble. It didn't matter how much trouble you were going to be in. You couldn't move anyway. Your legs felt like they didn't work. After a while, you could only accept whatever the punishment would be. Your head collapsed over the desk, leaving a notebook completely open to the last page you wrote. Your eyelids eventually became too much to bear to keep open, forcing you to sleep right there at the desk. Oh, he knows now. Seems like you fell asleep in here instead of coming back to the barracks like you were supposed to. Scared me. I thought something happened to you. Making my brain fight for its life until trying to deny all these bad things I kept thinking that could have happened. Instead, here you are asleep at a desk in a library. The little bookworm you are. Although this book looks handwritten, are you writing this yourself? You always do carry around that notebook. Is this the same one? Not to peek at your privacy business, but the page sitting open in front of me is too tempting. I'm sorry. Wait, my name? My name is all over this page. You wrote about me. I need to read all of it. What are you saying about me? All of this? Hold on, I have to. I need to read the rest, just to be sure. Wow. I can't believe anything I just read. Oh, the heart. All of it about me. I'm glad you think about me just as much as I do. I can't stop thinking about you. And like this too. Oh, and look at the little adorable drawing of me. I do love the artwork. I didn't know you were so talented. Oh, YN, I'll kill anything for you. Don't forget that. Once it's all over, you'll be happier than you ever were before. I'll guarantee that with my life. And that was Speared by Heart. If you like my content, please subscribe if I do output and comment. If you like my content, please subscribe if you haven't already. Comment down below and like the video. It'll help a lot. And please check this game out and check the Wattpad story. And I'll see you guys next time.